All right, everybody, welcome to another Mortgage Coach Leadership interview. I am with the one and only Ryan Grant. What's up, Ryan?
Dave, how are you, brother?
I'm doing good, brother. I am excited about this conversation because I know you're excited about this conversation.
Yeah.
I'm also really excited because I think there are real constraints and challenges in the market. Of course, I know your thesis and the way this conversation is going to roll is that I think a lot of loan officers are making this new marketplace harder on themselves than it needs to be. And I think we both know people need confidence in this marketplace. And when interest rates have gone up as much as they have, when it's as hard as it is to get an offer accepted and to win, again, it's just tough. So I don't know where you want to start on this topic. I know you have a lot of passion around leadership. You have a lot of passion on getting your head right so that you can win in this market. So where do you want to start? You want to start with just unpacking the market, or do you want to start with some specific strategies on how to win in today's market?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me on. I know I sent you an email letting you know we did this for our group, and it became abundantly clear that the level of confidence in which you attack this market is going to make or break your success, and it'll also make or break the success of the people that you work with, right? Not just your immediate team members, but your referral partners, your clients, right? Because they're all trying to navigate their way through this market as well. So I think just touching on what it takes to be highly confident in this market, and then what that will mean for all people that are involved in your business would be a great place to start.
How about we do this? Because while we're going to push this into our YouTube channel, it is the last day of February 2022. I do want to make this a timeless piece, so that, let's face it, one thing in the mortgage business, it's always changing.
Yes.
So let's define the market right now. And I do it enough, but if you could just, like, in a minute or less, define today's market, the challenges that everyone's seeing, and then let's follow your lead.
Yeah. So from the mortgage industry's perspective, the most obvious challenge is substantial drop in refinance opportunities, or refinance business that's immediately available based upon rate and term refinances. So rates have gone from 2.5 in 2020 up to low fours, and that's created a challenge in the sense that the low hanging fruit in refinances is not there. And a lot of originators' business was focused on that channel over the last 2-3 years. Second part of it is, even though rates are still relatively historically low, the inventory is at an all-time low, right? There's just not enough homes to buy. So even though the demand is there, people are not getting offers accepted. There's just not enough homes to create enough purchase transactions, which just means that you're going to be doing a lot of pre-approvals, and so you'll feel busy, but you won't necessarily see the results of that, which can be a confidence killer. And you've gone from doing all this business to less, and a lot of us have perceived our confidence based upon the numbers we have funded as opposed to what we actually do. And so I think it's a perfect time to go after this opportunistic market in a way that people just aren't doing right now, right? They're allowing the market to come to them, and they're creating reasons why they're not seeing the standard fulfillment that they normally do. But I think we can totally, change that perception and allow people to see the opportunity, not the obstacle.
Cool. So the obstacle is the way.
Very much so.
A stoic phrase that I know you love and I love.
Yeah.
And one last statement I'll make, and then we'll just do Q&A on this. And community, if you have questions for Ryan or myself, put them down below. But I believe that markets like this are where the best gain market share. So there will be a lot of great leaders that get their mind straight, get their strategies right, and they gain market share. They may not do more loans than they did, but they will grow market share. So
Yes.
If you want to be one of those professionals that gains market share, pay attention. If you're new to the business and you're like, oh my God, I got it at the wrong time. No, you didn't get it at the wrong time. This is
Perfect time.
This is a great time to be a new loan officer if you do great things. So let's just, I believe that with all of my heart. I know that, I know it's a fact. So Ryan, let's get into it. What are some specific strategies and things that you're coaching, you're leading, and you're doing?
Yeah. So the first thing I would say is stay focused on the activity, not the outcome. Because The activity will turn into the outcome over time. So the two activities that I believe are the most highly effective in today's market is going to be database conversations around equity analysis, right? And this is where Mortgage Coach is a weapon of mass destruction, right? Because you look at, and you couple that with Sales Boomerang, right? Sales Boomerang shows you the opportunities in equity alerts and, home price appreciations and for sales, like all the information it gives you. And then you look at how Mortgage Coach can show an equity analysis plan for every single person you have in your database. And there is an unbelievable amount of opportunity there. And it's not just, if Dave's my client, to call him and convince him to take cash out, right? Or to consolidate debt. It's an opportunity to help him plan and navigate the changes and evolutions in his life, right? So the same way that you're kind of stacking, potential purchase loans, right, with pre-approvals that will ultimately get offers accepted at some point, you want to stack opportunities within your database. Meaning that I may have a conversation with Dave. He's got 2.5%. He's got, no need for cash out. He has zero debt. And, on paper, he looks perfect. But then I need to help him plan for future real estate goals, right? Like I need to help him understand how to move up, down, out of the area, buy investment property, second homes, understand what's going on with his parents, what's going on with his children. So the equity analysis plan, or really the annual financial review, but can be done at any time, should be had with every single client. And then at the end of that conversation, one of three things is going to happen, right? You're either going to understand that there's a transaction available and then help them accomplish that, right? Cash out, pay off debt, move up, move down, whatever the case may be. Or you will plan the next transaction that they wouldn't have done without you, right? So you'll help them plan whatever's next and you'll work towards that. It'll be in your CRM and you'll be able to show future anticipated revenues because you can show future transactions. Or at the end of it, I'll say, Dave, thanks for your time today. Dave, who else do you know that you think would benefit from this type of conversation? Obviously, I didn't sell you anything today. This was not a sales pitch. This was to learn more about you, your goals. Is there anyone else in your life that you think would benefit from this type of conversation? And then, get referrals for clients that you would have never got referrals to, right? Because you didn't really show any additional value other than a loan. So I think database needs to be a huge part of what you do. When you show someone a Mortgage Coach analysis of their equity and what they can or should be doing with it, or how to think differently, that's called social currency. And people want to tell other people when they have good social currency that, hey, you should be doing this too, right? So I think database would be the first.
So I want to have everybody frame it around this: quality conversations. The loan officer with the most quality conversations gains the most market share and has the most confidence. And let's expand the definition of a quality conversation. First of all, data. Are you, do you have a good CRM? Are you using it properly? Do you have Sales Boomerang so that you know where the opportunities lie in your database today? So data and the things I just described are part of a quality conversation. And then presentation. Are you asking great questions, listening, and then presenting strategies using Mortgage Coach? Anything else you want to put around, defining a quality conversation? And there will be other kinds, like there's great quality conversations with realtors. There's great quality conversations with CPAs and financial planners. But when we talk about your database, any other QCs, quality conversation definitions that you think we should give the community right now?
Yeah, a couple of things. When it comes to database, A is remove the outcome of the conversation with the emotion of it.
I love that.
Right. So like, don't go into it thinking that you need to, if Dave's my client, I don't want to go into that call thinking, how can I sell him a loan? Right. How can I make money right now? You have to go in being curious about Dave's overall real estate and financial situation. You basically collect the financial puzzle pieces and then you put them together and you show him a better future. Right. And that could be something as simple as, Dave, you're pretty buttoned up, but I think a CPA could help you in this area, right? Or I think a financial planner, or you need an estate plan or will or trust, right? Or, are you planning on doing any renovations? Okay, here's a contractor that we work closely with. So just be curious as to how you can add value as opposed to how you can make money. And I promise the money will always come.
I love that. Everything I said, and then wrap around that, just as you're not trying to get a deal, you're trying to create value and connection. Okay, love that. So I don't know where you want to go next, but I do know how to stand out in this market is a little harder than some markets. Although for some people it's not. But do you want to go into standing out in today's market, strategies and tactics, or do you want to go somewhere else?
Yeah, I think it's a good segue to this, because the second thing I kind of alluded to when it comes to quality conversations is you have your database, but then you have your referral partners. Your referral partners need to see your cape, right? Like they need to know that you have superpowers, and that by working closely with you, their business will alternatively grow as well, right? They will see results that they wouldn't have seen otherwise. I don't believe that's the case with most real estate and mortgage professionals in today's world. Unfortunately, I believe that a lot of real estate agents see lenders as resources, mainly because typically we've earned that moniker, right? Like when they have someone who needs a loan, they think, okay, send a loan officer. They're good. I like them. They do their job well. And that's the way it happens. You need all of your referral partners to see you as so much more, right? To see you as a lead generator, as a lead converter, as a lead aggregator, as a way to get business from corporations, as a way to get business from ancillary partners or trusted professionals, as a way to scale and engage their database at a higher level. And so the first thing that I would urge every originator to do is really understand what their superpowers are, right? Like, what do you do that other mortgage professionals aren't doing? And how can you have that conversation with as many referral partners as possible? Right. So I'm a huge fan of the one-to-many conversation right now. I think the one-to-one is great if it's the right one. But if you can get in front of 100 agents at a time, or 30 agents at a time, or 10 agents at a time, and not just agents, right? Any referral partner, you need to be seen as the subject matter expert on how to tackle a challenging market. And that's where understanding superpowers becomes incredibly important.
So what are your superpowers? And I would love it if you're listening to this. What do you think are one or two of your best superpowers? And just for the sake of anyone that's kind of like writing things down, if you say it's your rates, your fee, your product, your speed, your trustworthiness, your problem solving, I'm just going to say, guys, those are not unique differentiators. And so your advice, I mean, when I founded Mortgage Coach, I came up with the phrase, Dave Savage team, our advice matters. And then I was able to, I built Mortgage Coach so that I could say that, and then I could show that. And within 2 to 5 minutes, it was like, oh shit, wow, this guy has my best interest in mind. Wow, this guy has extraordinary knowledge. I trust him, and I'm going to do business with him. So everyone, what is your superpower? And then I loved what you said, dude. I wrote this down. You need a superpower, and your referral partners need to see your cape. So how are you making that obvious to your referral partners? I love that. Before the next question, anything else you want to unpack on that or make sure people get around that?
Your superpowers all stem from your confidence level. And I believe your confidence level comes from knowing the answer to the question, why you? Right? So imagine, Dave's my client. I pre-approved Dave. He was referred to me by a realtor. I pre-approve him. He's out. He gets his offer accepted. He comes back to me. He says, hey, I talked to ABC Mortgage. They're offering me a 1/4 point lower, because margin compression is real and everybody's doing everything they can just to win a deal right now. And they have an on-time close guarantee. They can close in 15 days. They have, hundreds of 5-star reviews online. The guy I'm dealing with has been in the business for 20 years. He knows what he's doing. And, he said everything is going to be just great and they can order the appraisal today. Why would I still work with you?
Mortgage Coach for me.
Right? Like that's the fundamental question that you need to be hoping someone asks you one day, and that you need to be so ready for it and kind of have backed into that from the beginning that you can't wait to answer the question. Because when you have that level of confidence, and Dave, I love your kind of story, about how you built Mortgage Coach to support your business, and you realized it was such a unique superpower that you wanted to offer it to the rest of the industry. That's almost the exact same thing that we did with Art of Homeownership, right? Like I needed a differentiator, and I said, look, we can't we can't just have good customer service and be fast. Right? Customer service is subjective, right? Being fast is subjective if it's even necessary. So we need to be able to answer that question by saying, we're going to be the most valuable person in your life for the next 30 years in every aspect of real estate or finance. And here's how. And when we can say that, it makes everything else somewhat obsolete. And that's where, that having that level of confidence in that answer will translate to every other aspect of your business.
So little homework assignment I want to give everyone right now. It's 6 minutes of homework. I want you to go to our YouTube channel. And if you haven't already subscribe and listen to this, how Denise Donahue blows the minds of realtors. Go check this out. It's actually 5 minutes and 19 seconds. I'll put a link down below. I'm actually going to be interviewing Denise tomorrow at 9 o'clock. It's going to be Denise's realtor playbook. And so full hour, we'll unpack this a little more, but check that out. And then Ryan, have you seen that video that Denise did, that 5-minute video?
I have not, but I'm definitely going to do the homework. That's for sure. Well, Denise is awesome. I love her.
I put a challenge out to you. When you see it, I have a feeling that you're going to go, one, my guess is you're already doing a version of that. And I would love like a little 5-minute, how Ryan Grant is blowing the minds. And I'll let you pick like realtors, financial planners,
sure.
Boom. Again, part of her story was she's got these 3 TCAs. And again, guys, it's not about the technology. It's not about the product. It's about the problems that you're solving. And in her case, creating urgency, a move up analysis was one of the ways that she's blowing the minds of realtors. So cool. So what just break down the qualities that you think today's loan officer needs to have when you think of character, skills, and qualities. What is today's originators to win in this pivot to purchase market? What do they need?
You need to have the ability to influence and inspire people in ways that the rest of the industry won't do. I think those 2 things are incredibly important right now. So for example, if I'm talking to a group of real estate professionals, I love asking the question, what do you do for work? Oh, I sell real estate. What about you? Oh, I'm a real estate agent. And then before I kind of get into my presentation, I say, look, Dave, the next time somebody asks you the question, what do you do for work? I want you to look at them and say, I'm actually changing the real estate industry. And then see what their response is, right? Like you need to arm your referral partners with the ability to tell a different story, right? With the ability to offer a differentiated product. Because unfortunately, they're all out there trying to find the 4 homes that are on the market or that we're going to be coming on the market so they can list them. And if they're not one of the lucky 4 that get to list those property, then they're one of the hundreds that get to write an offer on it for their client. And so it's really hard for them to differentiate right now. But if you can give them the ability to tell a different story and inspire them to have different conversations with current homeowners, right, with prospective new homeowners, then they can't actually do their job without you, because you're the one who gave them the playbook, right? Like you're the one that allows them to tell a different story because of the partnership and the relationship that you and all the value that you provide. And so, we did a presentation to a group up in Keller Williams in Washington, and the broker went to lunch afterwards. He goes, first of all, I've never seen that many people in the training room before. And secondly, I've never seen them so fired up. Like he said, I was watching their faces when you were talking and they were like looking at each other and pointing and frantically taking notes. And then afterwards, like you could feel the energy in the room. And that's what our industry needs right now, right? We need energy, we need excitement, we need an ability to say the field is wide open and it's all accessible to us, right? We just need to know what makes it that, right? Like it's not rate, speed, service, closing on time. Those things are not inspirational, right? They're not a different conversation.
Yeah, there's no doubt changing the game is something that when I look at most top producers, they're selling a different value prop, a different product, so to speak. I think the typical loan officer, and by the way, this has worked for a long time. Like last year and the past 2 years, you could win selling rates, selling payments, selling refis selling a product. You could be a product salesperson and you could kill it. Your success was only limited by your leadership skills, your ability to build teams. But in today's market, you still need to build teams. You still need to do those things, but you need to sell problems. You need to solve problems, and your ability to uniquely solve those problems. And I know that's what you do. I mean, that's what we teach in the mortgage coach community. So let's again, if you want to add more to that, go for it. But I also want to, like, the market is dry for some people. And what do you do to get business when the market's dry? I do want to, before you get off, I want to get to that. Anything else you want to say before you give some specific strategies and tactics for anybody that's just feeling like I'm hurting? It's dry out there.
Yeah, I don't think it's dry at all. So I think
well, I've heard that. I've heard that, not from everybody. Like Jeremy Forcier, he had like a record number of leads. He is having to do more pre-approvals, and his the period from first pre-approval, but he texted me over the weekend and he like put 10 deals in escrow. Again, he had to put more work into that, but there are loan officers that are like, and maybe it's the refi guys and gals.
Well, maybe reframing that. So when I think dry, I think that the opportunities are dry, right? Like there's just not a lot out there that's happening that you can tap into. That is very much not the case. Now, the results may be a little bit dry, right? We have seasonality, we have inventory, we have rising interest rates. So yes, you're going to do a lot more work initially. You're going to stack firewood, and then winter comes and you're going to go ahead and burn through it. But it's really the opportunity that I think is where people need to look at, right? Because that is, I believe, I don't know, whatever the opposite of dry is, right? It's the most abundant, opportunistic time that I've seen in the mortgage market since I started in 2011.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I mean, you've got, and you also have platforms like you never had before. I mean, when we got in the business, there was the home bot, there was no sales boomerang. So it wasn't like you were able to, really find the leads in your database. And while Mortgage Coach has been around for a long time, you've never had more, technology and tools, and social media wasn't what it was, where you can, create brands, you can do one-to-many messages, you can broadcast videos. So I'm with you, but for anyone that's not feeling it, maybe give them a little roadmap, give them a little, like, here's what you do.
Yeah. So adopting databases, I think is a huge opportunity right now. Right. And so whether it's financial planners, CPAs, real estate professionals, contractors, if you can go to them and show them how you can up-level their value, right? How you can add additional offerings to their business practice, they would be not great business owners if they didn't say, yes, I want all of my clients in my database to experience what you're offering. Let's do a collaborative push to the database and roll out, all of the offerings that you have. Right. And that is just a huge win, right? Because you're not asking for a one-to-one client referral type situation there. You're saying, give me the 1,000 people in your database and let's go show these people what we can really do. Right. And do that time and time and time again. I think looking at the top producing real estate professionals, financial advisors, so on and so forth, all the people who help the most families on a monthly or annual basis, never been a better time to help them, right? Because they're seeing the crunch more than the person who helped 10 families a year, right? You help 500 families a year, you have a very big disparity between, your 2019, your 2020, your 2021 now. And they're realizing more often than they ever have, more often my lender isn't really just showing up. They're just doing the work that we expect them to do, but nothing more. And we can go to them and say, here's all the things that you expect us to do, and here's how well we do these. And here's all the things that you've never expected a lender to do. And let me show you how we can help you in your business there. And I have we do what's called game film here, where we send out all of our presentations as training and stuff to our teams. And the responses you get from real estate professionals is like, we've never heard this before. No one's ever said anything like this. This is, making us think very differently. This is expanding the way we're going to think of our market. And that's where you need to focus your time and energy, is how can you help the best and brightest in the industry do things they would have never thought to do.
Yeah, well, guys, we're going to be doing Scriptapalooza next Tuesday. Ryan, be thinking of a script. I would love to, if we could fit you in, get you on Scriptapalooza next week. We've already done the marketing, so you may not be in the marketing message, but just this conversation, I know you've got some good scripts. And so, but sign up for that, guys. Go to our website. It's in our Tuesday interviews, whatever next Tuesday is. I can't remember the date, but we're going to be doing Scriptapalooza. I want to show you something, Ryan, and I know you guys have done a great job with this, but we are, us in Sales Boomerang, our belief is the two things that matter most. Well, how much you care matters most. Like, I'm talking about technology, but how much you care and how hard you work in this market matters a lot. And are you going in the right direction? But guys, you need to know your database. Like, anybody out there that you do not know who the opportunities are in your database, you need to know them. You need to know who just recently had improved credit score. You need to know who's recently listed their home, who just had a credit inquiry, who has enough equity and enough debt that they should be doing a debt consol, so that you get alerts, so that you can give presentations. And by the way, does this make you more valuable to realtors? Ryan said adopting databases. When you can go out to a realtor, show your cape, show them that you've got some ways of finding the move-up buyers. Like, if you don't know how to do a good move-up analysis in today's market, you're missing it. Like, you need to be able to have a great conversation with a homeowner and be able to present to them what moving up looks like. You need to be able to have a great conversation with a first-time home buyer who's concerned that, maybe I missed it. Values have gone up a whole lot, rates have gone up a whole lot. And maybe I missed it and I should hang out and wait and drive my realtor crazy. You need to be able to have a great rent versus own conversation. So you need to be able to be able to close a loan is a commodity in this business. To be able to create urgency through value is a superpower. Any thoughts on that, Ryan?
I think you hit the nail on the head. I mean, unfortunately, real estate agents have waited for the consumer to show themselves as a willing buyer seller of property. And so they wait for someone to say, yes, I'm ready to sell, or yes, I'm ready to buy. And then everybody tries to earn that business. What, unfortunately, the real estate industry hasn't done a good job of in the past, likely because they haven't partnered with real, financial professionals on the mortgage side, is they haven't looked at every homeowner as someone to educate, right? And say, hey, let's sit down and let's just go through an analysis to see if moving up, down, out of the area, buying or selling or investing in property makes sense for you at all, right? And like, when you show them, hey, every person you talk to should be an opportunity for us to help that person see a better future, it makes them think differently. It expands the scope of what they believe they can do. Or, how many, we have a question that we ask our agents at the end of our business partnership planning meeting, which is our second meeting we have, that says, how many buyers right now do you have that are pre-approved who aren't getting offers accepted? Great, let's talk to those people. And we have a strategy to help with that. How many people do you have who are pre-approved who stopped making offers? How many people in the last 30 days have told you that they're going to rent because, the market's passed them by, right? Like, you need to let them, oh, wow, I have 10 of those people, I have 5 of those people. And you should have 20 referrals at the end of one meeting, right? You just have to ask the right questions and know that you can help them solve problems that they were just waiting for the consumer to solve on their own. So I think that's a really good frame, Dave, is like,
well, guys, I can tell you right now, I'm going to be interviewing Ryan Moore. Hopefully he'll have a great script for Scriptapalooza. If you have a question of Ryan, put it in comments down below, because we're going to be doing more of these. If you have a script that you'd love for him to do at Scriptapalooza, put that in comments. Ryan, anything else you want to share before we wrap it up? Just an important message, anything that you want to share with the mortgage coach community?
Yeah, I think a good way to end it that I'd love to just share from experience is leadership has never been more important than it is today, because it's easy to lead in a good market, right? But I think leaders are like tea bags, right? Like, you just don't know what's in them until you put them in hot water. And how you react to this market is going to make all the difference in the world as to where you are in the maturation of your business when the market turns a corner and gets really easy again. And that extends to every aspect of your life, right? You need to lead yourself at a high level, right? You need to make sure you're showing up every day with a high level of energy. You need to lead your team by inspiring them and creating confidence, creating a safe work environment, like creating work that's fulfilling for them. And then you need to lead all the people that support you and you support. And real estate professionals, financial planners, they're no different, right? They're going through challenging, tumultuous times. And if you can be seen as the one source of confident leadership, like that rock that doesn't waver and that always finds the opportunities, then the opportunities will keep coming, right? Because it keeps breeding that type of consistency. So I would say really focus on leadership. Jocko has a phenomenal leadership program that we all went to called Muster, which taught us a ton about leadership. And so I would say focus on that right now as well, on top of the opportunistic market we have and the superpowers that we want to exhibit.
So I want to share something on that. When I started doing Tuesday interviews coming out of the meltdown, and really my why was an absence of leadership. Like when it gets tough, people aren't doing enough meetings, they're not doing enough training. This call came because Ryan was doing some training, showing some leadership. And he's like, hey, I think this would be a great conversation in the mortgage coach community. So I just want to remind you guys, go to our website. Every single day of the week, we do training. Whether you want to be new and learn how to be a mortgage coach, every Monday. Tuesday interviews, like the one I'm going to do with Denise, on the 1st. It's Cryptopalooza on the 8th. And who knows when I'll have Ryan back to have him on something here. Every Wednesday at 11, we're doing training on strategies. Like, what are strategies to win in this market? Every Thursday, I've got a trainer doing training on just how to use Mortgage Coach. And then every Friday, we're doing masterminds. So now this is the Mortgage Coach leadership platform, but I would push everybody, what's your platform? Like, if you're a branch manager, what is your branch's platform for bringing leadership to your group? And then I also want to encourage you guys, like when I create this content, it's for you to use it. Like I guarantee this conversation Ryan and I are having, you might want to play it at your next branch meeting, or you might, there was 6 minutes of it, and I'm going to start here and I'm going to stop there. And there was something else you heard from Jocko, and, something else from, some book you just read. But guys, this is the time to be doing sales meetings weekly. I believe that is an absolute requirement of sales leadership, especially in a market like today. So I hope you got value from this. Ryan, I know you're all over social media, and you wear a lot of different jerseys. But if someone was to follow you, what are the primary ways to follow you, or places you want to go check you out online?
I think Instagram, Facebook are two probably the most prevalent ways to follow. If you have any questions, you can email me. It's just ryan.grant@neohomeloans.com. But yeah, Dave, I appreciate you having me on today. I would tell people, whatever trainings you do, incorporate the daily trainings that Mortgage Coach has. Just seeing that now, Dave, makes me feel like less of a leader, because I don't think my entire team knows that you guys have those every single day, right? But they will shortly, because why recreate the wheel, right? You have the best of the best and the brightest and the biggest innovators that you bring on consistently to help, people move a market forward, and not just from a production perspective, but in terms of like what we should actually be doing for the consumer. And so, yeah, we're gonna make that a bigger part of our curriculum. So appreciate the reminder on that.
Yeah, well, hey, one last thing, because we've recently updated our website so that we could do a better job of leadership. And so I don't think up until a month ago, we made it so clear. But one of the things we did is we invested in a director of e-learning. And Suzanne's job was to, help tell the story, and even things like training. We used to have all our training in all these disparate places. And now, you go to on-demand training and how to get started with Mortgage Coach, how to do intermediate training, So that's the other thing I would push everyone, and not just in this market, guys. I believe that the mortgage professional is the single most valuable advisor to a family, more valuable than a CPA, more valuable than a financial planner, certainly more valuable than the millions of life insurance agents on the planet. We can be the captain of the wealth team. We can do more for a consumer's well-being than any other advisors, but you need to be more than a loan officer, and I'm going to make the case you need to be a mortgage coach. So, check it out. So Ryan, dude, I hugely appreciate you, man. I'm looking forward to our next chat. Have a good one. Guys, give us a like, follow Ryan online, and we are wrapping this one up. Take care, y'all.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate you.